Guardians. Today we're covering the top 5 builds that every Warlock needs in their arsenal. These builds will offer you everything from putting out high boss DPS, ways to live out your dream being the ultimate support player, and even ways to stay in your super for more than 2 minutes. So rally your fellow Guardians, prepare your arsenal, and join us as we unveil the top 5 builds that every Warlock needs in Destiny 2. Remember to leave a like if you find this video helpful. If you like seeing build videos and other Destiny 2 helpful content, consider hitting that subscribe button. With that being said, let's jump right on into it. And the first build on our list lets you live out the dream of being the best healer in Destiny 2. With the new exotic helmet, Speaker's Insight, you can create healing turrets that will send out healing seekers every 3 seconds to any nearby allies, giving you cure and restoration. Now we have a way to consistently heal us and our team. The really cool thing is, when you bring Touch of Flame, this amps up to restoration ×2, which is equivalent to standing in a well. In activities with 3 or less people, this means Song of Flame is the better option, since we can provide the same healing, offer 10% more damage resistance, and we get more damage overall. Since the turret can only output so much healing, in activities with more than 3 people, well is technically better for damage phases. That means for most activities we have insanely strong healing capabilities, plus an incredibly powerful super. But we amp this up even further by bringing Ember of Benevolence, so that every time we heal a teammate, we get 6 seconds of 400% increased ability regeneration. This means we get our healing grenade back before our turret even runs out, so we can immediately put down another one. I then bring the aspect Helion paired with Ember of Ashes so that we can put out a ton of extra damage and give us an easy way to stun unstoppable champions. And what's the flow for this build? Well, throw down a turret near where you and your team might post up. As you heal your teammates, your abilities will rapidly come back. When it comes time to move, simply Phoenix Dive on a teammate or proc healing with a weapon that has heal clip or a support frame auto rifle to keep up that Ember of Benevolence buff. Repeat the process whenever you come to a new location. And as for damage phases, I like to throw a healing turret and then Phoenix Dive before popping my Song of Flame, and then I just go to town on the boss. For stats, I shoot for 100 in Resilience, Discipline, and Recovery, with Resilience and Discipline being the top priority. And when it comes to weapons, you do have plenty of options to work with. You can bring weapons like Luna's Howl that can roll with heal clip to proc Ember of Benevolence, or even bring the new support frame auto rifle to increase your team's damage and add in more healing. This can be a bit of overkill, so any other weapon that fits in the activity you're in will also do the job. And when it comes to the artifact, we have a couple that we want to bring. First up, Radiant Orb, so you get 25% weapon damage whenever you pick up an orb. Then I bring Counter Energy, so that when a champion is stunned, you get 25% to your lowest ability. And finally, I take Shield Crush, which is going to give you 25% additional base grenade recharge rate by staying radiant. With this build, you can become the ultimate support player that you've always wanted to be by giving you and your team access to immense amount of healing and increased damage. This build excels in team content and even some of the most difficult activities like Grandmaster Nightfalls. Warlocks have one of the most interesting combos with Prismatic. With Getaway Artist, you can consume your arc grenade to spawn an arc buddy and go amplified, which gives you extra damage resistance for this season. The cool thing is that when you pair that with Bleak Watcher, you also pop out a stasis turret, which gives you a way to slow, freeze, and shatter so that you can take advantage of your darkness debuffs. This is already pretty powerful, but we also add in Feed the Void to gain access to an enhanced version of Devour by getting any ability kill. With this Devour, we get full health on kills and up to 40% of our grenade back, which allows you to create more arc buddies and stasis turrets. We then bring 3 fragments to make this even stronger. Since our stasis turrets will be slowing everything, we can bring Facet of Courage to increase our light base ability damage on any target with a darkness debuff. And we can then bring Facet of Ruin to increase the damage and size from shattering those targets. Finally, we bring Facet of Awakening so that rapidly defeating targets will spawn an elemental pickup depending on the damage source. This mainly means Ionic Traces from your arc buddy kills and Stasis Shards from your turret. Ionic Traces are super strong since they give you 12 to 15% energy for all of your abilities, and Stasis Shards give you more melee energy. And what's the flow for this build? Well, consume your grenade to create 2 buddies and gain damage resistance. Get a powered melee kill or an arc buddy kill to proc Devour. Once Devour is active, kill anything to continuously gain grenade energy and keep consuming your grenade whenever you get it back. If you ever get into trouble and don't have Devour active, pop your Transcendence to gain extra damage resistance as well as a ton of ability energy. That way you can proc Devour again. I like to bring Song of Flame as the super of choice for most activities so that we can gain access to easy radiance and damage damage resistance. For stats, I shoot for 100 resilience and discipline. Then I go for a balance of strength and intellect. Both are super strong and useful, and there are a few weapons that really take this build to the next level. The Call is excellent for general ad clearing and can roll with Demolitionist, so you can spam normal grenades in between consuming them. Sunshot or any general ad clearing weapon is fantastic to take advantage of Devour and get back more grenades. As for the artifact, we do have a couple mods that we want to bring. First up, Radiant Orbs, which gives you 25% weapon damage whenever you pick up an orb. Galvanic Armor, so that you can gain 30% damage resistance every time you consume your grenade. And Shield Crush, which gives you more grenade energy and damage by staying consistently amplified. This build is a ton of fun to use and honestly very strong. You have immense survivability between Devour and damage resistance, and a ton of ability regeneration, high ad clearing potential, and control with turrets and buddies. And this next build is one that I think a lot of people are sleeping on. With Crown of Tempest, we get some insanely strong benefits from the Prismatic subclass. See, we can use arc abilities or get jolt kills to gain up to 3 stacks of Conduction Tines, which will give you over 500% ability regeneration rate for your grenade, your melee, and even your super. While this regeneration rate is nice, there's one more specific interaction that I love. With stacks of Conduction Tines, you gain decreased super drain for any passive super. This means that you can take Song of Flame to gain 90% damage resistance, 25% weapon damage with Radiant, and Scorching Rounds for your kinetic or solar weapons. This would normally last for 25 seconds if you don't use any abilities. But if you can keep up Conduction Tines, you can theoretically have the super last for 136 seconds. That means you can be in your super getting all of these benefits for more than 2 minutes. And while it's not probable to have 100% uptime on Conduction Tines, it is probable to have it up some of the time. You might wonder how we can activate it since we can no longer use an arc ability, but that's where a Volt Shot weapon comes in. Now you can gain stacks by getting those jolt kills from using your weapon. The whole time you're staying unkillable, giving your team ability regeneration and damage reduction, and even having that 25% weapon damage. And what's the flow for this build? Well, use any and every way to get arc ability kills and jolt kills. We bring the Lightning Grenade and Lightning Surge so that we can slide and use our melee to jolt targets. Since this gives us increased ability regeneration rate, you want to consistently use your abilities, and any downtime, use your weapon with Volt Shot. You can pop your super whenever you get it back, since you will be getting it back at an increased 500% rate, plus creating a ton of orbs. And once that super finishes, feel free to pop that Transcendence whenever you get into trouble. And make sure to use that Strand weapon or your regular melee here and there so that you can gain more of that Darkness Transcendent energy and build that up. When it comes to stats, I shoot for 100 in resilience and discipline. Then I go for about 70 strength. As for weapons, Volt Shot weapons are the key to keeping your super active, so make sure to bring one. There are plenty of good options out there. And make sure to trigger Jolt on a larger target. That way, you can keep shooting that target to kill any of the enemies around it with that Jolt. When it comes to the artifact, we bring Radiant Orbs for extra weapon damage, Galvanic Armor to consistently take 30% less damage, Shield Crush to deal more damage and increase our grenade recharge rate, and finally Transference to gain more grenade and melee damage, as well as Transcendent energy back based on how many weapon kills you get. Having a way to stay unkillable for more than 2 minutes is immensely powerful. Remember to not use your abilities while you're in your Song of Flame, since those will always cost a certain amount of super energy to use. And like with our last build, we aim to get back our super as quick as possible, but this time we want to use our abilities to shred through enemies while we're in our super, and even deal some competitive boss DPS. With Mantle of Battle Harmony or a class exotic with Spirit of Harmony, you can use solar weapons to get 1.5 to 4.5% super energy per kill for your Song of Flame. Since we get our super back so quick, we aim to use it as much as possible. And while we're getting back more super energy, we bring aspects like Feed the Void for more health and grenade energy, paired with Helion so that we can have a solar buddy at our side to deal even more damage. We then bring Facet of Balance for more ability energy on rapid kills, Facet of Awakening to create elemental pickups on rapid kills, and Facet of Honor to gain transcendent energy on elemental pickup. So the gameplay loop goes like this: throw a grenade at a group of enemies to proc both Devour and become amplified, then start killing with your solar weapon to rapidly gain super energy. In the meantime, with every kill you gain grenade energy from Devour, so whenever you get that grenade back, just throw another. And make sure to Phoenix Dive often to keep that solar buddy around. Whenever you have a boss or a mini boss spawn, or there's just a large wave of enemies, pop that super to shred through all of them while basically staying unkillable. If you don't have your super available, pop Transcendence to deal more damage and amp up your survivability. As for stats, I shoot for 100 resilience and discipline, and then I go for about 70 in intellect. Since we want solar weapons, Red Death is a really fun option that helps heal you if you don't have Devour active. Otherwise, you will be also consistently healing your teammates, but you could also bring a solar primary weapon that is very good at ad clearing, like the Sunshot. You could also bring a solar machine gun for the same purpose of ad clearing, because it's a good option for normal activities, and for raids and dungeons, simply swap out to your weapon of choice. As for the artifact, we want to bring Radiant Orbs, so that orbs will now make you radiant, and Galvanic Armor, so that you'll gain an extra 30% damage resistance when you're amplified. We also take Shield Crush for consistent increased grenade damage and recharge by staying radiant or amplified. And finally, Transference, so that while you're Transcendent, you gain more melee damage and grenade damage, and you gain back more Transcendent energy based on how many weapon kills you get. With Song of Flame, we become the ultimate support tool for us and our team. We have immaculate survivability and damage to easily clear any activity. And for this next build, I wanted to put together a build that allows you to deal a ton of boss DPS that doesn't leave you high and dry in the mid-game rotation while trying to get to the damage phase. So we're going with a Strand build that uses Matoi Doxia. We can now use our melee to mark a target, and upon killing that target, you create a suspending burst. Then kill suspended targets to gain back melee energy. We then bring the aspect the Wanderer to suspend targets with the tangles you create, making it easier to gain back even more melee energy. Since I recently got Euphony, I'm aiming to deal a ton of burst damage with Threadlings, so I'm bringing Weaver's Call and the Threadling Grenade to create more Threadlings, and then pairing that all with Thread of Evolution so that they all deal more damage. We then bring Threads of Generation and Fury so that we'll consistently gain back more melee and grenade energy. And what's the flow for this build? Well, for pre-damage phase, the loop goes like this. Use your melee to create a suspending burst to stop enemies from attacking you. Whenever you create a tangle, either shoot it or throw it at a group of enemies to suspend them, and in turn gain more melee energy by killing those suspended targets. Throw your grenade or use your rift whenever there's a large group of enemies to take them out quickly. As for the damage phase rotation, you want to pop your super, then your rift, and then throw your grenade to increase the damage you can deal with Euphony. And if you have a bait and switch grenade launcher, I like to swap to it to shoot a full mag before going back to Euphony. This gives you a ton of burst DPS and total overall damage. And for stats, I shoot for 100 resilience. Then I shoot for a mix of strength and discipline, since both are pretty important for this build. As for weapons, Euphony is the obvious choice as the main DPS weapon. Though if you don't have it yet, you could run with the Call in the primary slot and take a Strand Heavy like the Cataphract GL3 or Scintillation. And as for the artifact, we bring Counter Energy so that whenever a champion is stunned, you get 25% to your lowest charged ability. And then we also take Shield Crush to gain increased melee regen and damage whenever you have Woven Mail, which you get by picking up orbs. The amount of Suspend, Unravel, and pure amount of Threadlings you can create makes this build not only fun, but very strong. I highly recommend bringing it into a dungeon to give it a go for yourself. And there you have it, Guardians. We've covered builds that excel at clearing out a ton of enemies, builds that are meant for boss DPS, and even builds that make you feel invincible. Remember, mastering these builds is only the beginning. Experiment with different combinations and tweak your loadouts to suit your playstyle, and never stop honing your skills. If you found this video helpful or just enjoyed seeing a new perspective, feel free to like the video and comment down below what builds you've been enjoying the most for Warlocks. Keep an eye out for future videos as we continue to explore the ever-evolving world of Destiny 2. Until then, may the threads of fate be ever in your favor. This is Lucky Mech, signing off. See you on the next adventure, Guardians.